So over the past 24 hours, something pretty remarkable has happened in the fandom army. So after RM's live stream stirred up a lot of conversation, army across the world moved with one voice. Right? They pushed Anpanman to number one on US iTunes for the first time ever, 7 years after its release. Incredible. And at the same time, a beautifully written letter, written from Global Army, began circulating everywhere, reminding BTS that the real majority is steady, patient, and supportive, right? And the letter was also translated in Korean, and that was also circulating. And I also posted a Korean video today. Well, now it's past midnight, but let's just say today, about Korean Army, right? And how international army believe that K-Army are entitled. And I made this video in Korean, and I was very surprised to see, and not really surprised, by the amount of comments that Korean armies wrote under this video. And the response has been just as important, right? Because their comments show that what's actually happening on the group in Korea, what's actually happening within the fandom, and it's very different from what some international fans might think. So there's a story here that deserves to be unpacked with some clarity and fairness. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to break down what really happened, why it matters, and what both Korean and international army need to understand moving forward. Okay, so I'll talk about what I said in this Korean video and what the comments are talking about. I'll translate for you. And also, at the end of the video, I might briefly talk about this Twitter thread that I just wrote, that something feels off in BTS spaces right now. And this reminds me of what happened back in March of this year, 2025. In particular, the videos that I made about Boynextdoor. I will briefly talk about that. But let's talk about this incredible news first. So ARMY did it. BTSARMY pushed Anpanman to number one on US iTunes for the first time ever, again, 7 years after it was released. And that happens because millions of fans across the world, quietly and consistently chose to send a message together, just like the fandom did back when the Suga scooter scandal happened. And what's the message this time? Same. We're still here, we're still united, and we're not going anywhere. And it happens because ARMY decided, in the middle of all this noise going on, to remind BTS and ARMY, fellow ARMY, and the world who they really are. So who BTS are to us and who we really are as a fandom, right? Reminding each other and especially to BTS, right? What they mean to us and who we really are as a fandom. Now, let's talk about the song itself. Anpanman has now reached number one on iTunes in at least 51 countries, including the US. Fantastic news. And someone wrote, Anpanman is the world's weakest superhero. He doesn't have any superpower, but he would tear his face off, which is made out of red bean bread, to feed hungry people. Like Anpanman, BTS desires to give people hope through their music. So interestingly, I found this very interesting article from 2018 written in Korean, titled BTS as Anpanman, How They Comfort Youth in Their Own Way. And reading this article really reminded me of the meaning of the song and why ARMY decided to send this particular song to number one on iTunes. Okay, so let me briefly read and translate for you. When BTS kept singing Angpang Angpang, it felt so familiar, but I couldn't quite place it at first, the article says. I thought of a kid's cheese snack, but that wasn't it. After a quick search, I realized they were referring to Angpan, a Japanese red bean bun. In Korean, we say 호빵맨, okay, which means the title of BTS song Anpanman. It's the same character as Korean knew as 호빵맨, a nostalgic figure for many of us. Anpanman is the hero of a picture book series by Japanese illustrator Takashi Yanase, which has been airing as an animated show on MTV since 1988. It was also widely loved in Korea during the 1990s. The main character, Anpanman, is the weakest hero in the world. He does not have any superpowers like Batman or Superman. When he sees someone in trouble, he helps them. When he meets someone hungry, he literally breaks off a piece of his own head, the angpang, and feeds them, the red bean. If Batman and Superman are star heroes who swoop in dramatically, Anpanman is an everyday hero who stays close, watches over people for a long time, and quietly helps where he can. BTS compares themselves to this weak hero in the song. They may not have flashy superpowers, but they want to give people hope through music and performance. Seeing the strongest boy band in the world identify with the weakest hero is what makes it feel so BTS. It flips the conventional idea that only strong people can be heroes. Their stance is, even someone who feels small or flawed can still be heroic. And that ties into the message BTS has always shared. This is at the core of the Love Yourself series. Loving yourself doesn't mean only loving the confident, perfect version of you. It means embracing the real you, flaws and all. In the title track, Fake Love, the lyrics talk about wearing a mask and acting like a puppet to be loved, only to end up in heartbreak. Real self-love begins the moment the mask comes off. And here, the article quotes the lyrics. Being a cool hero is my fantasy, but the only thing I can give you is an Anpan. I'm not a superhero. Don't expect too much. I can be your hero, though I'm not sure I even deserve to say that. But I have to try. If not me, then who? You can call me Anpan. By the way, I really love the song. Waiting for Anpanman. I'm not a superhero. Yeah, I just love it. The article says, what's great about this song is its honesty. A lot of people pretend they don't want what they cannot have. They protect their pride by saying, it's fine, I never wanted that anyway. If BTS followed their logic, they would say, I don't want to be a superhero. I'm cool just the way I am, and try to convince themselves. But in the lyrics of Anpanman, they admitted openly, being a cool hero is my fantasy, but I'm not a superhero. That honesty shows real confidence. They acknowledge the gap between their dreams and their reality without shame. This is how BTS comforts people. They don't preach. Don't try to be a hero. They don't lie and say, I never wanted to be one. They don't despair and say, since I'm not a superhero, I'm nothing. Instead, they declare, I'm a new generation Anpanman. I'm a new superhero Anpanman. This simple declaration shines the brightest. I'm a new kind of hero. It gives you permission to love yourself as you are. Even a weak hero is still a hero. I'm Anpanman. I'm the weakest hero in the world, and that's still enough. It's sincere, cool, and utterly BTS. Just like in the lyrics, waiting for you, Anpanman, I'll try a little harder, I'll be your strength. They want to follow Anpanman's model of heroism, giving what little they have with sincerity. Not the kind of hero praised for power, but a hero defined by kindness. Honesty, and another quote from the lyrics. Honestly, I'm scared of failing. Honestly, I'm scared of failing, scared of disappointing you. But still, with all my strength, I'll stay by your side. I'll fall again. I'll make mistakes again. I'll get covered in mud again. But trust me, I'm a hero. Anpanman may be clumsy and imperfect, but he also knows he was made with love and care, crafted by Uncle Jam, the baker. So he proudly calls himself a hero. He may be weak, but he is never helpless. Man. Great choice. And this is perfect as a message to BTS and also in relation to what RM said during his latest live stream, right? So, fantastic. Also, I'm pretty sure many international ARMY have already seen this beautiful letter that global fans wrote and shared everywhere, right? It's spread across platforms in both English and Korean, which I have read in this video in Korean for my Korean ARMY subscribers and the audience. And the message was just powerful, like no demands, no pressure, just gratitude, trust, and unconditional support, right? That's the message. And the Korean translation was well done, that it reached many Korean fans too. But for those of you who haven't read yet, let me briefly go through this one. Letter from Global ARMY to BTS. Dear BTS, from every corner of the world, we as ARMY want to convey this message from our hearts to you. These past years, we waited with trust, love, and patience. It wasn't easy seeing the ones we love so deeply being separated during this time, but now seeing you together again fills us with joy that words can barely describe. After everything you have gone through, after all the roads you have walked separately and together, you returned as seven, and that alone is something we hold close and cherish deeply. It feels like a long winter has finally passed, and now we can all stand in the same warm place again. Remember when we said, till 2025, we'll be waiting for you? We did. We never left your side. Now the challenges, the distance, the waiting is behind us. What remains is gratitude. Gratitude for your strength, your sincerity, your music, your connection with us. Every single thought and action done while having us in mind. And for simply being yourselves. We know how hard you have worked, not only through your music, but through every challenge you have faced, publicly and privately. We want you to understand this. We have zero expectations, nor demands. We are simply grateful that you are here, healthy, and walking into this new chapter together. Whichever pace you choose, whatever direction you decide to take, we are with you. Your well-being will always matter more to us than any schedule, combat, or performance. What we want more than anything now is for you to feel safe, supported, and truly understood. We know how much pressure surrounds you, how many eyes and voices try to shape your every step, but please remember that we love you exactly the way you are, and we believe in you and trust every step you choose to take. We don't want you to feel any pressure from us. All we hope for is your happiness, your peace, and freedom to grow at your own pace and own way. You have spent years giving us comfort, courage, and hope through your words, your music, your laughter, and your honesty. Let us return a small fraction of that love now. If you ever feel overwhelmed or unsure, we hope you can think of ARMY as a safe place where you are accepted without expectations, without any fear. As you step into this new chapter, just know that you have millions of hearts walking quietly with you. We stand with you when you achieve your dreams, but also through uncertainty, through quiet moments. You are never walking alone. Take your time, protect your heart, follow the paths that feel right to you. We will always be here, steady, patient, and endlessly proud, with love and loyal support. Your biggest voice and eternal youth, Army. Well written. Beautiful. And yes, I have read that in Korean as well. But here's a part that might surprise you because most Korean army actually agreed with it. And so thankful that global armies wrote this letter. See, the people you see yelling on Weverse or Twitter aren't representative. Okay? And this is something that I talked about in this Korean video. Why? Because there are the loud minority, right? Remember the photo that I showed you in my last. Do I still not have it? Okay, maybe I. It's somewhere here. Man, do you hear that? I'm getting hungry. I gotta go to bed soon. Anyways, this photo. So those people yelling on Weverse or Twitter, complaining and sound super entitled, they are the loud minority. And some people aren't even army. Some are trolls. Some are fandom agitators, I would say. And some people are just long-time casuals who drift in and out and suddenly try to police the members as if they own them. But they don't speak for millions of global fans, and also they don't speak for Korean armies either, the majority of Korean armies. And I would say most, or many, or the majority of Korean army, the ones who've been here through conflicts, challenges, enlistment, scandals, quote-unquote controversies, quote-unquote scandals, yeah, victories, and every quiet year in between, or failures, whatever you call it, they read that global letter and said, yes, this is exactly how we feel, okay? And I will translate these Korean comments written under this video. But before that, let me briefly summarize what I talked about in this video, okay? And I actually thought about making the Korean video right after the English one, but I thought I should get some sleep to organize my own thoughts, because that RM's live stream was pretty, I should choose the word carefully. I mean, it was shocking. Not because I see so many people like misinterpreting it and like twisting his words to make something out of it. But no, it wasn't shocking because, so do not trust in those lies and misinterpretation and twisting of the narrative. It was just shocking because it just showed me that RM pays attention to those little voices that get amplified by the algorithms of Twitter or social media. So, which is why, exactly why, as soon as I started this video, I said this. Before talking about BTS and ARMY, I want to say one thing to Namjoon. You might want to cut down on Twitter. Because why? Social media works in a way where once you click on a certain type of post, the algorithm floods your feed with more of it, right? And even I see that, when I do research or look for content on social media, like X, Twitter. But I know most fans are patient and supportive and enjoying things in a healthy way, just like many of you and most of you who are watching this video, right? But the ones who make the most noise always dominate the timeline. And once you click on that kind of post and refresh again, and suddenly it feels like the whole fandom is angry or leaving or melting down. And that is exactly what we see or saw or we've been seeing on Weverse as well, which is why I brought up these two videos I made back in March with Boynextdoor. And I will talk about that in a minute because I think it might be worthwhile looking back and bring attention to what happened a few years ago. And Boynextdoor, by the way, is part of KOZ Entertainment, which is under HYBE labels as well. Anyways, HYBE's got lots of enemies. Anyways, what else did I talk about? So yeah, the social media, but that's the illusion of the platform. I may be wrong, but I think what we see is just the tip of the iceberg. The loudest voices rise to the top, and it makes it look like everyone feels that way. Some fans might be upset or disappointed, sure, but the scale of negativity is distorted by how social media works. And I wanted to say that to not only my subscribers and fellow armies, but also to Namjoon and the members of BTS. Okay. Then I actually recommended this book. Have you guys heard of a book called Let Them? So it's a book I would like to recommend to artists and fans and creators like me as well, because it helped me a lot as a creator. It teaches you why? Because it teaches you to let go of what you cannot control, including other people's reactions or emotions, and focus on your own actions and peace of mind, right? Just simply saying, let them and let me, So in the social media world where people get easily hurt or thrown off, I got lots of help from this book, and it's generally helpful. Next, I talked about the people who are voicing criticism. And I explained to the Korean armies that I see two types, right? First, people pretending to be fans. And as you might have observed, in K-pop, there are so many people like that. Whether they're simple trolls or haters or antis who are jealous of whatever, they pretend they're fans, like their army, when in fact they're not. In fact, there are some cases where they create accounts. I mean, there are some obvious ones, right? You see accounts claiming to be fans, but then only created like a couple months ago, or even like this month or last month. But some people, believe it or not, create accounts way in advance and even write, fan looking like post just to use the account at the right moment to weaponize it, right? To use it against the whole fandom and the artist and the group that they target. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first group. And second group is actual fans who feel personally disappointed. So I believe that those people also exist. And sometimes even longtime fans post long emotional comments about how BTS changed and how they aren't the same and how the fans deserve better and so on. And these posts, I said to the Korean armies, that often get treated like they represent the whole fandom, which they absolutely do not. Why? Because meanwhile, the majority are quiet, supportive, respectful, and patient, not entitled like those loud minority. And traditional K-pop fandom culture includes people who want idols to fit their taste, and how should I say, or behave in a certain way, right? But here's something important: you cannot mold an artist to your taste, right? And no matter how gently you phrase it, some posts hurt, and some are outright emotional manipulation. And I use the word gaslighting in the Korean video, saying things like, now only a few fans remain, treat us well. That's harmful. Army is huge, and I keep saying this. I would like to believe that the majority of people are fine. They're nice people. But when comments like that go viral, people start believing they speak for everyone. By the way, in the Korean comments, I also looked through and showed them these posts that I saw on social media X. Some of them are really supportive and actually angry at those entitled fans, whether those entitled fans are real fans or not, right? So these are mostly K-armies angry at those entitled posts. And then I, of course, read this Korean letter from Global Army to BTS, translated in Korean, right? And the core message is that we love, Army love BTS as they are. They don't demand a certain image, and they don't want to control them. They don't treat them like characters they own. They simply appreciate them. And many Korean fans do this too. Again, most Korean army, I believe, are kind and patient. But the stereotype forms because loud posts dominate the Korean side of SNS, social media as well. So international fans look at those and say, look, Korean army are so entitled. And it becomes a loop of misunderstanding. Okay? And I also said that, what I said in my previous video, BTS just came back from the military, right? And as someone who served, I told them, when you're in the military, you're exhausted, right? And do you know how hard, that hits your identity and self-esteem when you're someone who lived at global star level for years? Because military service is mentally rough, even for ordinary people. But for BTS, it must have been far more intense, right? Because BTS weren't serving as like celebrities, like some Korean celebrities do, getting special treatment. But they were serving from the rock bottom rank like everyone else. So they were serving, they really served. And I said some Korean fans do say something like, hey, give us what we want. It's not a big ask. We just want like a group live stream. Just come joke around on live and do anything. And I saw some Korean comments saying that they say BTS are overestimating what fans want. But I was saying even that is still an ask, right? It might be a small one, yes, but still an ask. And that ignores that the group hasn't officially returned yet as a full group, right? That's next spring. But once they do, I'll say they will naturally have more chances to appear together. Because I think another thing that people forget is that they are in the only period of their adult lives where they get to be regular civilians, right? You know what I'm saying? They just got discharged from the military, and once the comeback begins officially, they go back to full idol superstar mode. You know what I'm saying? So let them breathe while they can. And military changes people, like I said, anyone who served knows that after discharge, you don't instantly jump back into your old rhythm. And now imagine doing it while being under global scrutiny. So yeah, that's what I said. What else did I say? Yeah, BTS must, have been together filming content, probably even now, And just because we don't see group lives doesn't mean they're not working, And when they do get free time, they deserve private time, and because they're human. But still, I acknowledge that I see some Korean comments saying that we don't need big content, just small updates. Again, understandable, but they are updating. They post photos, go live individually or small groups, and show their lives here and there, and we still get tons of content. And I said in Korean, honestly, no idol group in history, in K-pop history, has ever had such a, packed enlistment period. They drop albums, solo music, so much content during military service, and yet people forget within weeks. Yeah. And another big issue is comparing members or treating RM like he needs to discipline others, right? And he already said, we're all adults now. We're all professionals, right? they all think and act for themselves. So comparing members and policing behavior or demanding explanations like a parent, uh, like a parent scolding a child, that's wrong. And Korean culture has a strong tendency toward comparisons. That's a whole nother discussion. But that culture, I think, definitely feeds into fandom behavior. But these are grown men with careers, art, and lives, and they deserve respect as individuals. And then I pointed out that some overseas fans, actually lots of overseas fans, say K-ARMY overreacts about quote unquote scandals. But then I also try to, acknowledge that Korea has a different social background, including like stigma around like tattoos, privacy, and relationships. So, but I did say that things are shifting though, in a good way. The Korean culture and the fandom behavior is shifting in a positive way, but not instantly. But still, I did acknowledge that certain reactions go too far, almost as if saying, our fandom, or I made who you are. I made you who you are today, so you owe us, or you need to act this way for us. That crosses the line, and because it's emotional pressure. And for me, the highlight of RM's live stream was when he says they must live their own lives to make meaningful music. If their entire lives are just cameras, schedules, and performing like robots, their art loses color, loses sense, and their words lose sincerity. They need to experience life, make mistakes, rest, love, suffer, grow, and that becomes the soul of their music. And I said, this isn't just for BTS, it's for every artist. Some fans might be worried, disappointed, or confused. That's understandable. But crossing into entitlement or emotional demands harms the very people they claim to love. The truth is, I said, most K-ARMY are quiet, patient, and loving. And again, the loud ones distort the image, right? And the algorithm amplifies them. And those quiet supporters are the ones, BTS wish they could hear more often, I hope. And one last thing is that once BTS faces fans in person again, on stage, everything will settle. All the doubt and stress will melt away like snow. Because BTS have always thrived when they stand in front of their fans, heart to heart. So BTS will be fine, and ARMY will be fine. And BTS also has their each other. The members have each other. So let them live as humans so they can return as artists. And everything will move forward once the comeback begins. Actually, it's already moving forward. So that was the gist of my video. Now, let me quickly go through some of these comments. Probably by this point, almost 200 comments were written, mostly in Korean. I also quoted RM's post that he posted a few years ago on X, saying, roughly translated, me and you, we will eventually win without anyone knowing, very naturally. So that's a very famous quote, right? And then I added links to 3 songs that I made inspired by BTS and ARMY. So go check them out. If you, hopefully these songs that I made could be of comfort for you. All right, let's start from the top. I'm not sure how many I would cover, but starting here. I completely agree. I hope Namjoon sees this video. Most ARMY support BTS and quietly wait for them. I'm just grateful BTS exist. I truly hope they can keep promoting for a long, long time. Yeah, that was my wish that I stated in the video. My wish is that just BTS does their music however they want for a long time, This person said, I cried because I could feel Namjoon's pain during the live stream. I hope our boys stay happy and healthy. Your channel is wholesome and genuinely helpful. Thank you for the great videos. People threatening to leave the fandom, Taepa, were never ARMY to begin with. I just want the boys to be happy. And this person wrote, happy to see K Diamond supporting the BTS love from International ARMY. This person wrote, the Global ARMY letter really hit me. I was heartbroken after watching Namjoon's live too. Your videos are comforting. Thank you. As long as all 7 come back together, that's all we need. I don't understand what more people want. Threatening to leave the fandom? So ridiculous. Those people do not even buy albums. They're the ones buying members' phone numbers illegally from scammers. Ooh. What hurt most was hearing that his insomnia came back. Things may change, but BTS and ARMY never fundamentally change. Okay, so this person used that subtle difference between the words 변화 and 변함. So 변화 both could mean change, but 변화 means like circumstance show changes, right? Like evolution. But in terms of the characters, they do not change. And I think that perfectly captures, a BTS career and their growth. We all grow, and growth itself could be, defined as change. But does it mean that their characters and personality change? No. You know what I'm saying? All right, back to the comments. A real fan waits and believes. That kind of fan is the overwhelming majority. Most ARMY are busy living their own lives, which is why you don't see them on social media all the time. Yeah, so that was also thought-provoking. Interesting. Another comment, stop threatening to leave. Just disappear quietly. You claim to like them, yet you threaten them. Let me go to a concert too. Namjoon, don't worry and do whatever you want. We waited for the military service. We can wait for next spring. This person wrote, I agree. So many ARMY everywhere are just waiting and waiting. Antis pretending to be fans are sneaking in to divide people, but true ARMY do not get swayed. Namjoon, don't worry. I completely agree with you, with HYBE BOY. I hope Namjoon and the members watch this video. I just want you to make music happily. We love you and support you. This person wrote, I think this is the first time I've heard HYBE BOY voice sound so upset and hear such deep sighs. Yeah, I tried to control myself. And this video I made right after I came back from church, praying for people and praying for you guys. But still, I was like, after reading through some comments, yeah, I did get upset, especially after RM's live stream yesterday. Anyways, so this person noted that and said, it shows how frustrating this situation must feel. Let's all take a breath and quietly wait for the brilliant days that will come when our boys return. I hope Namjoon sees your video. I'm an ARMY who waits quietly too. Most ARMY do not have demands or expectations. That really is the majority. You're 30 now, 13 years into your career, and you have never caused trouble. Thank you for working so hard. Yeah. And by the way, I saw some of international ARMYs commenting on my latest English video, saying that when I use the word like trouble, saying how some entitled fans, like, they're disappointed that some members have been getting into trouble. Yeah, what I meant was quote unquote trouble. They create troubles, controversies, scandals out of everything. You know how it goes. This person wrote, Namjoon, you're forever BTS leader and member. Stay strong and don't let yourself be shaken. We know you always work sincerely and do your best, and that's what ARMY wants. We're always with you and cheering for you. To love and to break up is all part of life. I just hope all 7 can be truly happy. It's okay. Just stay together as BTS for a long, long time. This one. Social media, SNS, especially Twitter right now, is completely unhinged. I guarantee what you see there isn't even 1% of overall public opinion. You cannot even tell who's a real fan and who's an anti. People often mistake extreme posts as a majority opinion, and this situation is exactly that. I hope the members do not get shaken by this. Like ARM said, BTS are moving into the next chapter. If I may add, I think that chapter is a transition from idol to true artist. A tiny portion of fans seem to want them to remain idols forever. That's not the right approach. Interesting. Although, because I'm pretty sure many of you are like, what do you mean? They have been artists forever. Yeah, but I guess this is they're talking about the public perception. But yeah, good point. I love this. It helps me understand BTS even more. Next comment. I felt the same way. After the live yesterday, I was so worried because he seemed anxious after discharge. I hope he stops reading comments or social media too much. ARMY are holding strong, and I hope he doesn't get shaken by a few antis. Thank you for this broadcast. I agree with you 100%. You said exactly what I wanted to say. I watch your videos from time to time, and you have no idea how grateful I am. Their existence itself is a blessing. 존재 자체로 은혜. When they enlisted, all I wished for was this: come back healthy and safe. They came back safely and are already gearing up for chapter 2. I'm grateful and I'm waiting. ARMY, please stop rushing them. A good album takes time. Imagine how much pressure they must feel starting chapter 2. If we wait calmly, they will return with good music for sure. Let's enjoy it fully when they do. Anyone threatening to leave the fandom is not ARMY. Not at all. People like that shouldn't call themselves fans. They only try to ruin the fandom. This person wrote, I'm only on Threads. Threads, like the meta social media. I'm only on Threads, and everyone there was supportive. I also believe the majority are quiet, supportive fans. Yeah, I guess there's something about Twitter, X, you know what I'm saying? This person wrote, the Global ARMY letter was truly moving. I cried when you read it. Everyone has different values and opinions, but it is so hard to respect the artists you like. It's basic human decency. I don't understand people who cross the line just because they're fans. At this point, I'd rather they all be antis and not ARMY at all. Please take care of your health, HYBE BOY. Thank you always. Our boys must be destined for a huge comeback, considering they're dealing with all this bad luck beforehand. Antis, thanks for the comeback noise marketing. The more you do it, the more you will just annoy yourselves. I hope our boys keep their peace of mind. Honestly, I don't even have words. Just focus on your own life. Work hard. And time flies. It's already December. The boys will come out when it's time. If they're late, they must have a reason. Why are so many people running their mouths? If you don't like it, leave. No one's holding you here. I'm just grateful they didn't disband and are still making music. So as I read these comments, you can sense that, these comments written by K-ARMY, K Diamonds actually sound exactly like what international armies would write. You know what I'm saying? So I hope, again, what I'm trying to say is that this is the majority, and this is what I like to believe. There's some loud minority that still exists, and that camp is divided into, fans, casual fans, antis, haters, and trolls pretending to be armies. You know what I'm saying? All right, next up. I agree so much. Whenever they take time out of their schedule to do a live, I'm just thankful. I enjoy every piece of content they release. Why do people talk so much? They will show up again when the time is right. But after watching Namjoon's live yesterday, my heart dropped. As an 8-year ARMY, I just want all 7 to stay healthy and keep making music for a long time. I related to this so much. Watching the live yesterday, I could really see how hard things have been for him. I'm just grateful they exist, but as time goes on, I think we will see who truly loves them for who they are. Namjoon is such a gentle person. Seeing him try to explain things to the fandom broke my heart. We only need to focus on streaming the album and showing BTS our support. It's a difficult time right now. Thank you for posting this video. What hit me the hardest in Namjoon's live and everything that's been happening lately was when he said we have to live our lives to make better music. I almost cried. It made me think of fake love. They are not our marionettes, meaning puppets. My fear is that they'll be pushed into making insincere music. Waiting isn't easy, but because the time ahead is already promised, even the waiting itself feels happy. I hope they get to experience a wider, richer life, so their inspiration overflows into their work. I believe they will bring us better music, so I don't want them to feel indebted to us for life. I just want them to share a long life of communicating through music with us, though maybe that's selfish too. My wish is simple. Let's stay with BTS for a long time. Very long time. Yeah. 방무행할? 방탄 무조건 행복만 알자? Always like happiness for BTS. I think that's like a abbreviation. When you said this is their only time as a civilians, I completely agree. Okay. That's what I said in the video, right? Right now, this gap period, after the military discharge and before the combat, this is like the period that they will never have again in their, life. So, for BTS. Armies are quietly waiting for our boys. Tannies, trust army. Don't get hurt. 아포방포, love you, 보라해. And let them date. Even kids at daycare have boyfriends and girlfriends. Don't you date? It's ridiculous. Don't you date? So they're saying this to those entitled fans. Exactly. There are so many fans who support quietly. I hardly ever leave comments myself. I feel shy about commenting, though I'm not even sure why. I felt so upset after watching Namjoon's live, so thank you for addressing the real issue. Thank you, HYBE BOY. Weaver's comments were a disaster for 2 days. New accounts popping up non-stop. Okay, and when a hate comment appeared, it would get 20 likes within 1 or 2 seconds. That almost never happened naturally. It was chaos. I don't know if they were acting under orders from another fandom or moving in as a group from somewhere, but the comments kept escalating. Thanks to Namjoon, things finally calmed down a bit, and your video also brought me some relief. Okay, I think this might be a good point to talk briefly about this thread and these 2 videos that I made early this year. Alright, so I wrote before making this video, something feels off in BTS spaces right now. The sudden fan post on Weverse, quote-unquote fan, the strange attempts to stir panic, the messy rumor cycles, it doesn't feel like ARMY. And honestly, we have seen this pattern before. When, back in March 2025, with Boynextdoor, again, they're under HYBE labels, part of KOZ Entertainment, entire spaces were flooded by coordinated non-fans pushing fake stories and staged outrage. It looked like the fandom was melting down, but most of that noise wasn't from real fans. So yes, at the time, they were supposed to have a concert in Bangkok, okay? But there was a huge earthquake near Bangkok. Was it Myanmar, if I remember correctly? It was a tragic event. So they had to cancel the concert. But then, so they had to leave the place as soon as possible for safety issues. But then there were countless Chinese fans like angry over them. Of course, they made all sorts of excuses that they're mad at the Boynextdoor members for not explaining the situation and not really saying hi to them at the airport. But what's problematic is that they started to create rumors that Chinese fans were just dying, literally dying, because they're in like chaos, and they blamed everything on Boynextdoor members. Okay, the fan deaths, and then they start to make death threats where on Weavers. First, they did on like X, but then it became more and more organized, and it was all over the Weavers spaces, Boynextdoor Weavers community. It was horrible, and that really reminded me, or what is going on right now on BTS Weavers community, remind me of that. Of course, things have become much cleaner, quote unquote cleaner, after RM's live stream, because at that point, many ARMY were like, oh my god, it's code red right now. We got to support these guys, these boys, and then wrote, really nice messages. But before that, and I'm pretty sure things are still going on right now, some toxic messages have been popping up. So at the time, back in March, after seeing these, allegations that some Chinese fans were like killed, and Boynextdoor members are being blamed for that, I went over to Chinese social media and search engines and platforms, and I saw that there were actually Chinese articles written about it, right? Those alleged fan deaths, and how Chinese quote unquote fans are blaming on Boynextdoor members. Then I went to the Chinese embassy website and saw that there was no reported deaths because of the accident in the region. And I even emailed the embassy, wrote in English, and so here's a website in English and Chinese. Never got a response back. Why? Because there was no deaths. And then probably it might not be wise for them to respond to such email because of diplomatic reasons. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that it was all rumor. In fact, it was a toxic rumor. You know what I'm saying? And Boynextdoor members had to apologize personally, individually, by writing posts on Weavers community. And that got, the fandom, the true fans, to One Door, that's the fandom name, to rush over to Weavers community and fill with positive messages. But yeah, it was pretty horrible, and many of the comments were written in Chinese, and the pattern was the same. Oh, we're so disappointed. You should, just retire, or even worse than that, sending death threats, wishing the members death. Now, things have calmed down after people start to realize that, okay, something is going on, something is being coordinated, and these are just rumors being, generated by some forces behind. And at the time, I communicated with Boynextdoor Chartmaster. So it's a fan account, right? And when I broke down that incident for my video, I remember talking with the account who helped clarify the timeline and point me to verified sources. And this whole situation taught me just how quickly outside actors can twist an entire fandom space when emotions are high. And it's super easy for many fans to fall for it, because it might give you an illusion of your own fandom being, falling apart, like Code Red or something. I'm looking at my conversation with the fan account, Boynextdoor fan account that I, what did I say? Yeah, so we were actively fact-checking with each other, and that fan account, also looked into Chinese local social media and posts, and were sharing with me the videos in real time of the members, when the members were at the airport, to see whether the, allegations waged by the Chinese fans are true or not in terms of like consistency, but there were flaws in their logic and in the claims that they were making, which is why gathering those evidence and receipts, I made 2 videos, including this one. Boynextdoor Bangkok concert cancelled. Why are Chinese fans so angry? And fact-checking the Boynextdoor Bangkok concert Chinese fan death rumors. Now, the lesson learned is that, again, there are 2 factions. On the one hand, there might be some fans who are truly disappointed. And were making messages to express their disappointment. Why? Because they bought their tickets, went all the way over there, and saw their concerts being canceled. Of course, that was canceled because of a natural disaster, earthquake, but I'm pretty sure some of them are young fans and just feel their hearts broken or disappointed. So, yeah, that might be the case. On the other hand, what I felt at the time was that it was like an organized smear campaign going on, hate campaign, targeted at Boynextdoor members. And as you probably have realized by now, HYBE gets a lot of hate, not only domestically, but also internationally. So it wouldn't be surprising if part of the chaos that we are witnessing right now in December of 2025 is sort of a similar pattern that I saw back in March. No receipts yet. I don't know, maybe as I'm talking right now, people are finding receipts. Who knows? But it's just an observation that I made the past couple days. Okay? What's happening on Weverse and X now carries the same pattern. Posts pretending to be quote-unquote concerned fans, accounts that don't speak like ARMY, threads designed to raise suspicion and create chaos. This is how outside groups plant stories until they feel real. The goal isn't to fool the entire fandom. The goal is to make enough noise that casual fans start thinking something serious happened. So please be careful. Don't boost unverified posts. Do not assume every Weverse commenter is ARMY. If something reads off, trust your instinct. These campaigns rely on people reacting before checking anything. And because I saw many Korean fans genuinely worried that it is always the real fans who are threatening to leave the fandom, giving them an idea that the fandom is falling apart. And also at the same time, there's this divide being created between International Army and K-Army at a moment when unity is most needed, which is exactly why I'm making this video that you're watching right now, to clarify those misunderstandings, right? And at very last, I wrote, BTS deserves a clean space to communicate with their fans. ARMY deserves a community that isn't being steered by people who aren't here for BTS. Stay steady, stay smart, and don't let outside groups turn Weverse into another battleground. Yeah. So that's what I wrote. Anyways, should I read more comments? Korean comments? So this person wrote, how did I finish? Weverse, thanks Namjoon, things finally calmed down a bit, and your video also brought me some relief. Yeah. If you're a real fan, you trust BTS, wait for them and support them. I don't understand why some people interfere, make demands, and try to satisfy their own desires in the name of being fans. If your feelings have faded, just leave quietly without blaming BTS. And I cannot stand antis pretending to be ARMY and muddying the waters. Yeah. One more comment. And then I would really encourage you to visit this video and, I don't know, auto-translate these comments in Korean if you still believe that, oh, most Korean fans are entitled. I'm here to say it's not. The loud minority might be, but the majority are supportive and filled with love and patience. Last comments that I'm gonna read. Jungkook is turning 30 in a few days. Yeah, some people still act like he's their little baby bunny. Buying merch, albums, voting, or posting does not give anyone the right to control or dictate another person's life. He's at the age where Jungkook's father had his older brother. The same people who shouted, "Thank you for giving birth to Jungkook," now want him to live like some kind of monk. Watching him sing, dance, comfort fans, show affection, and open up on live while reading all those bizarre, delusional comments, I kept thinking, no normal person could live like this. If it were me, it would crush me mentally. Which is why I created a song called If I Were BTS, right? It ain't an easy shoe to fill. Not at all. Heavy as a crown. This person wrote, I just want BTS to be happy as human beings. People who disguised twisted obsession as fan love and attack their character are not fans. They should stop and get help. Thank you for this comment, which makes me doubly happy because it shows that despite cultural differences, we can think similarly. There you go. That basically captures the reason why I made this video. And I hope it was informative for you. And, when you see English translated screenshots of comments from quote-unquote Korean ARMY, from now on, it's easy to assume those comments represent the entire Korean fandom. But that's not necessarily what's happening. What you're seeing might be a loud minority. And in some cases, you're not even seeing ARMY. You're seeing trolls, antis, or people from other fandoms pretending to be ARMY, especially on platforms like Weverse, where anyone can sign up and post instantly, right? So, many Korean ARMY, if not most, aren't policing relationships or demanding behavior changes or trying to control the members. They're doing the same thing that the global fandom has always done, quietly waiting, supporting, and minding their own lives. And they don't jump into every argument, which is exactly why they're invisible to international fans who only see the noise, floating around on social media. So this disconnect could build a false narrative, right? International ARMY think Korean ARMY are entitled, quote unquote entitled, while Korean ARMY feel misunderstood because the worst voices get amplified and translated. So I would say it might be likely that both sides are looking at the same tiny group of loud, frustrated, or even malicious accounts, and then assuming it reflects millions of people. But it doesn't. The truth might be simpler. The majority of both international and Korean fans want the same thing. What is it? For BTS to live as human beings and create music from a healthy place and return when they're ready. They don't want control. They don't want chaos. And they don't want to fight each other. The problem is the noise. And the noise comes from a very small group. Although there's a chance that there's a fairly large group who is creating the noise. We'll have to see about that. If that's the case, that's more than frustrating. Yeah, almost on the verge of being a criminal behavior. So if you're an international ARMY watching this, the key message is that don't mistake volume for representation. And don't let a handful of extreme comments shape your perception of an entire country's fandom. Because the people who truly care on both sides are still here, still supportive, and still grounded in reality. Okay? So when we look at all of this together, Anpanman climbing up to the top of US iTunes, the global army letter spreading everywhere. No, it's not this, right? It's this. And the quiet but overwhelming support from, Korean army, and the way the fandom stepped up after RM's life, it becomes clear that the real army is still exactly who BTS always said we were. And the loudest voices online aren't the majority, and the people who try to divide the fandom aren't the ones who define it. And what defines ARMY is what we saw just now: patience and a willingness to act when it matters. Patience, some might say a loyalty, and a willingness to act when it matters and when it's needed. So now I want to hear from you before wrapping up. How did you react to ARM's life? I have already read many of your comments, but what did you think when you saw Anpanman hit number 1 after all these years? And how do you think we, as a global fandom, can stay united when a small minority keeps creating confusion? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Everything will be okay. Peace and love. Bye-bye.